So about a year ago, I made a video about propagating a particular houseplant, and I showed you several different ways of rooting it. It's simply the easiest plant I've ever propagated, or one of the easiest plants I've ever propagated, and it's absolutely beautiful. Now lately I've been getting more views on that video, and a lot of people are asking me questions about it and about how they're doing. So in this video, I want to do a couple things. One, I want to show you an update almost a year later of all of those cuttings, and I'll put a link down to that video in the description below. I want to show you how those guys are doing now because I know some of you are interested. I've done nothing with them. I've left them all in the same position, the same pots and everything as they were in last year when you last saw them. And then two, I want to take you inside and show you a couple different plants we've got, which ones we've struggled with, and which ones we've had no problem at all with. And I think one of them is really going to surprise some of you because I've seen people say, hey, I'm having problems with this particular plant and we're just not having any problems with it at all. And maybe if we can share this information with each other, you guys can be as successful with it as I am, and then I can be more successful with a particular houseplant that I haven't been successful with. And here they are, guys. It's the Pothos. Do you remember this video? I can't even get it all in one shot. Look at how big these individual Pothos cuttings have gotten. Now these were the ones that we actually took. We took a bunch of different cuttings and we tried different methods. We tried putting these guys here. Let me give you a little better shot there. We took these guys, one of them we took a long branch like this and we snipped it at different places and put every individual cutting into individual cups. Some we did in water, some we did in soil. And then another one, we took the whole long branch, laid it in water to see if it would root, and then we could snip into individual parts. In one section, we even put in my fish tank and we got really good results. In fact, I think that one had the best results. Now here's the deal. These are all individual cuttings. These are those same cuttings. Look at that, individual cups. These are, I can't even, they're all intertwined so much I can't even get them all out of here, but these are all those same cuttings that we did last year, and all I did was I set them inside in a windowsill of my house on that table that I do my figs under, and it's not even that good of a, it's not even well lit, that window. There's an awning over one side of it. Anyway, these guys take nothing to grow inside of your house. If you know nothing about houseplants, if you haven't been successful with any other houseplants, get some golden Pothos. This stuff is beautiful, it's lush, it's green, and it will grow in any environment I could possibly imagine. And the really cool part about it is the cuttings are so darn easy. Like I said, if you want to see the video, go check it out below. But when I was actually bringing this thing out, I grabbed this whole tub off the table to bring it out to you guys. I didn't realize that one of these long branches here had grown up along the windowsill, and it actually, the roots started trying to grow into the windowsill. Do you see that little chip of paint there? It grew into the paint. It's right on that root. It grew into the paint there, and so it ripped some of the paint off, but that's how easy these things are to grow. They will grow into anything. It's literally ivy in more tropical climates. So I've actually got 17 of these things here. In this little cutting right here that I just showed you, I've already decided, I brought this little glass deal out. I'm gonna go inside and just stick it in some water, just like that, and this sucker will root. All those little guys will just come out. All those little roots, they'll just start pouring out and forming into beautiful long roots, and this will become a whole new Pothos plant. Now, the cool thing about this is we can take every single individual one of these and just put it anywhere in your house. Get a little bottom for it. Oh, by the way, these things are dried out. I haven't been watering these guys hardly at all. Occasionally, like I'm talking probably, I've watered these maybe 4 times in the last year when I see them the leaves starting to droop a little bit. They take no care at all. But you can set these all over your house. You can have them draping around in your kitchen. They're the easiest maintenance, easiest to propagate plant. Now, I don't even know what I'm going to do with all these. I'm going to set some around my house just for Shelly because I thought it's time to get them out of that room. But I've got a couple other plants I want to show you, and like I said, one of them we're struggling with, and I'll show you some things about that. Another one we're doing really well with it, I think, is the other one that would kind of go hand in hand with this Pothos in how easy it is to grow and propagate. So let's go inside and check that out. All right, so we're inside and this is plant number 2. This is a peace lily, and since my wife picked this up, in fact, she made a video about it. I'll put a link down in the description below to her channel, and she talked about this peace lily. It was not in the worst shape, not in the best shape, but we ended up putting it in this window that we have here. It doesn't get too much light. It's kind of dark over on this side, and like I mentioned before, there's an awning there off the front porch that blocks a lot of the sun. But you can see, just sitting in this window, we don't water it much, we don't do anything special for it. It's got blooms all over it. Everywhere you look, there are little blooms on this thing. They're all over. And then there's new constant blooms that are coming up from down below. Now, this is also another really easy plant to propagate. And the way you do that is just simply by division. So if you look down in here, you can see we got a clump here, a clump there, a clump there, back in the back over there. And all you need to do is just pull this out of the pot, just take a spade or even by hand, just break that up into different sections, and you can repot each one of those sections with the roots into another pot. And we could have like 5, 6, or 7 new plants right here with just this one little guy, and they will all grow and develop into big full plants. And like I said, this has been so easy to maintain. We do hardly anything to it, an occasional watering, and it's just blooming beautifully on a regular basis. Now if you remember, this little guy, he's kind of suffering right now, and I know exactly why, and it's because I'm not giving it what it needs, and I know what this one needs. This is a croton. It definitely needs way more light, and I knew that putting it into this window. I thought we'd be able to overwinter it through the winter in this little setting, but it's just not working out. What it really needs is for me to put it back under that table with the fluorescent bulbs or some brighter lighting, because I mean, you can see it's still alive, it's growing, but it's just so slow and it's losing leaves, and it really needs to go under bright light. It needs to be watered on a not constant basis, but you know, it needs some moisture in the soil. I haven't watered it in a while, and it would definitely come back. So I'm probably just gonna barely wing this one and get it by for a little while until we get to next spring. I'd like to take it back out into the hoop house where it will do like it did last summer, put on lots of new beautiful growth and really grow nice in the warmth outside with lots of sunlight, because these things grow naturally in like zone 9, you know, down in Florida. People plant these as little short hedges around their properties, and they grow beautifully down there, but up here you got to bring them inside for the winter. So this one needs lots of light. If you want croton, it's a beautiful plant, but you definitely need to have it in a well lit place. Now, I'm not going to get to that last one yet. First we're going to talk about one more. This is the one that I'm struggling with, and I think I know why we're struggling with it, and I think it's because it's not getting enough light. It seems like a really easy plant to take care of, and what is it? It is a wandering Jew, and I know that is a name that drives some people crazy. I'm not going to get into the politics of it. It's just what it's been called for so long, but it just doesn't get enough light. You can see a lot of these branches are starting to kind of die back a little bit here. We still got some green growth, but this guy's not looking good at all. We've watered it, it's just not getting the light it needs, and I think it is a heavier light plant. It's not like that peace lily where it's just going to grow like crazy no matter what kind of lighting you have it in. It's just it needs higher lighting. We actually bought it at a nursery in a greenhouse that had full lighting on it this last fall, and it slowly declined into this. But I got something cool to show you. After we got this thing, my daughter wanted to take some cuttings, and we've preserved this plant. So this is the back side of my sink, and we actually have a skylight up above us over here which gets a lot more light. Now, my oldest daughter took these cuttings of that plant several months ago and put them in this water here, and you can see they just rooted really easy right in water with no problem at all. They've got lots of roots down in there, and they're growing really healthy with this increased light above us. You can see it's brighter over here. We've got this little guy, we've got this silver pothos, and that's doing really well over in this area. Even got some aloe back in there. It really should have more lighting, but so I think what we're going to do is plant these guys, pot them up, and keep them in a more well-lit area and grow them into big, bushy, beautiful plants again. But these wandering Jew definitely need a lot more light. And then the last one, the one that you guys aren't going to believe me on, is this one. This is an orchid, and this orchid here I've had for a year. You saw some videos on that, or at least a video on it, and then I repotted it up into this pot last spring, I think it was, and I actually used the same kind of coarse bark for it. It's like so coarse that it just water drains right through it. And I don't hardly do anything for it, but I still haven't gotten it to flower yet, but it stays really healthy and beautiful. A lot of people say you don't want to water these guys directly, but the truth is, every month or month and a half, it doesn't take much. I just put this whole thing down in the kitchen sink and I run water over all of it. The leaves, this area, all of it. I just run water over it till it's pouring out the bottom, and then I pull it off, let it drain through really well, and just stick it right back up here. I've never had a problem, but I think it's because I have the really coarse medium. So I'm not sure this one would be such an easy plant to propagate for beginners. However, it is a very easy plant, in my experience so far, to take care of. It is not required really anything at all. You just, I mean, as long as you've got really coarse, thick material that doesn't hold a lot of moisture, this bark and this heavy, thick peat, and that water can just drain right through really well, no problem at all. All right, we're back out here. So, thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I had a lot of fun growing these little cuttings, and now I just got to figure out what I'm going to do with them, and we'll go from there. If you guys have any thoughts on some of the plants inside and how you grow them and what you do with them, or anything to help out here and other people can see the posts and maybe help them out, just let us know in the comments down below. If you did like this video, if you learned something from it, hit the like button. If you want to follow along and see how these plants and other plants and all kinds of plants turn out in the future, hit the subscribe button. Thanks guys, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.